feel like sometimes you and your mind are not on the same page at all? You want to lose weight, but your mind just wants donuts. Or you want to grow your business, but some days you just feel like sleeping in and you don't want to do much. It's always a constant battle between what you want to do and then like the back of you, this voice in your head that's telling you not to do the thing that you know you need to do.
Stab the heart. Don't stab the heart. Come again?
In this video, I'm going to tell you why that happens and then give you kind of a formula of what you can do to finally defeat your self-sabotaging mind. My name is Jarvis and I'm the Morning Hero. I show people how to master their time so they can master their life. You can go to themorninghero.com and learn more about how to become a morning hero. Now, this is all based off of this book, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And if you haven't read this book or even heard of it, go binge everything you can. David Goggins is self-proclaimed the world's hardest man. He started off as kind of this low life with low ambitions, no motivation, just a pest control worker that was over 300 pounds. And one day he made the snap decision. He was destined for more than that. And he went on this journey of how to overcome this person that he used to be to become this extreme individual. He went through BUDS, which is the Navy SEALs hardest boot camp possible. He went through it 2 or 3 times, like the most in history is like torture. He went through it 2 or 3 times. He went to the Army Ranger School. He went through the Air Force's boot camp academy. Basically, he's done everything possible to put himself in extreme conditions to overcome it. For himself, it's more or less the battle of the mind. And this is true for most people. Most people, what's preventing them from hitting their goals has nothing to do with external forces. It has nothing to do with their conditions, all the things that's in their way. It has everything to do with internal. It has everything to do with the mind. And so he went on this extreme journey of how to overcome the mind to produce extraordinary results. And since then, he's gone on to set, I don't know, I can't remember how many world records, but like the world record in number of pull-ups, the world record in like distance run. And now he runs these 150 to 200 mile races nonstop, all because he knows how to control the voice in his head.
Jump. Pussy.
If you can control that voice in your head, that self-sabotaging, that self-defeating voice that's always telling you to stop and it's complaining and it's making excuses, if you can learn how to control that, then the world opens up to you. You have limitless possibilities. I recognize this for myself. One year I was training for a triathlon and I hate swimming.
Help him, he can't swim.
Well, then you go get it.
Well, I can't swim either.
That's why I signed up for a triathlon, because I wanted to challenge myself to do something that was kind of outside of my comfort zone. And so I started to train for swimming, and I get in the pool, and you know, the first day I'm like, okay, I'm watching people go back and forth, and I'm like, okay, this looks pretty easy. I'm gonna swim about 40 laps today. That's gonna be my first, you know, a really good workout for me. I'm gonna swim 40 laps. I get down, I start swimming, and I get halfway down to the end of the pool, and I am dying. I'm gasping for air. Like I am physically about to die. Not just physically, but like spiritually, my soul is about to evacuate my body. And I had to grab onto the ropes and I couldn't even make it all the way down to the end of one lap. I swam half a lap. I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. This is easy. And I didn't even swim one lap. And so I kind of crawl my way. I pull myself down to the edge of the pool and I get out of the pool and I look at it like with this look of disgust, like, what the fuck? And so I get back in and I try to swim. This time I actually did make it down to the edge, to the end of the pool. I swam one lap. And I did that for about a week straight, swimming one lap at a time. By the time I get to the other end of the pool, I am dying. I'm like, I don't see how I'm gonna make this triathlon. There's no way I can do this. Eventually I got up to about 2 weeks into this, I was swimming 2 laps at a time. And that was it. At the 2 lap mark, my entire body was shutting down. Like I felt paralyzed. I wasn't physically able to swim more than 2 laps. the race was coming up, and I said, Jarvis, I'm going to have to withdraw from this race if I can only swim more than 2 laps. And that day I went into the pool. I said, you know what? I am not stopping. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if I drown at 3 laps. I am swimming more than 2 laps today. And so I get in the pool and I'm swimming. I swim down 1 lap. Okay, I'm feeling good. I get to 2 laps and I was okay. All right, I don't know if I can do it. This is where I normally stop. Jarvis, you got to stop. You're not going to make it. And I said, you know what? No, I'm not stopping. So I swim past 2 laps. I get to 3 laps. I get to 4 laps. I get to 5 laps. That day I swam 27 laps. I went from almost dying at 2 laps to swimming 27 laps. There was no difference between the previous day where I was gonna die and I couldn't make it no more than 2 laps, and the next day where I made it to 27. The only difference was my mind. And that brings us to the very first point that David makes in his book, Can't Hurt Me. He calls it the 40% rule. And that rule states that at the first instance your mind tells you that you need to stop, you're really only at 40% capacity. And what he says is that if you can fight through it, you'll realize you actually have way more capacity in you. And most people quit way before they're physically able to. And that goes for everything. Like whenever that little voice, that little birdie in your brain says, no, you can't do it. You're too tired. You don't have time. You actually do. Your brain has just got this safety mechanism that kicks in right at the 40% mark. And so if you could realize that, you actually have way more capacity to do way more. And if you could tap into that by just shutting down that little voice. Every time your brain tells you something that you actually have you're physically able to do way more than you think you can do. And this is this law of the 40% rule. So how do you start to shut down your brain? How do you shut down that little voice so that you can fight past that 40% mark? And this is one of the unique things that David talks about in this book. It's based off this principle of that you are not your mind. You have a mind. Just like you have an arm, you have a leg, but you're not your arm, you're not your leg, you are not your mind. And if you can understand that, you can start to distance yourself from the thoughts. And this is powerful, to know that whenever a thought comes up, that's not actually you. You could almost think of it as it's a separate being. In fact, David, he personifies that voice, and he's a little extreme. He calls his voice a little bitch.
You bitch.
And so whenever he hears that voice says, you're tired, he's like, that's not me. That's that little bitch. Shut up, little bitch. I'm doing this. And if you can, I don't know if you don't have to be that extreme, but you have to make this clear separation between who you are and who that voice is. And any voice that creeps up that's not serving you, that's saying, you're too tired. It's making excuses. It's complaining. If you can recognize that that's not you, that's actually a separate being, and you don't have to submit to what it is saying. You're separate from it. So just like how your mom gives you some advice, you don't have to take it. You're like, shut up.
Shut up, Grandma!
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. You can do that with your voice. It is separate from you. And so the way I like to do it is give it a name. Name it. Since it is separate from me, I'm going to give it its own name. My little voice, that little voice in my head that doesn't serve me, his name is Rufus. And every time Rufus creeps up and says, Jarvis, you're too tired. You should go home for the day. You don't have time to send out that email. I'm saying, hold up. Is that me talking? Or is that a Rufus talking? Rufus, shut up. I'm staying a little later so I can get this email out. Jarvis, you had a long day. You deserve a break. Just curl up to the TV and watch some TV. You deserve it. Wait a minute. Is that me? Or is that you, Rufus? Rufus, is that you? Shut up. I'm going to the gym like I said I was going to do. Give your little bitch a name. And now you start to create some distance between you and it. And the moment you give it a name and know that it's separate from you, you can talk to it. You can tell it to shut up. You can tell it to go sit in a corner. And then you can actually fight through that voice, fight through that resistance to do and serve and show up the way you need to do, serve, and show up to satisfy your goals. If this blessed you, leave a comment below or consider subscribing, because I go live every day, just putting out little tips, bits, and wisdom like this. So let me know what you think of it. And let me know what you think about this book. What's one of your biggest takeaways from this book? For me, is the law of the 40% rule, where every time you hear a voice, you got about 60% capacity left in you. So keep going. And if you need to, create a name for that voice and tell it to shut up whenever it starts to get in your way. All right, heroes. Hope this helps you. Until next time, this is Jarvis encouraging you to do more, be more, and achieve more than you ever have before. Now it's your turn. Go out there and save the world. And I'll see you in the next video.